morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today I'm here to say, I told you so, but please don't click off the video yet. That would make me very, very sad. Let me explain. You see, I've been kind of obsessed over the past couple of weeks about these gold cards from Crown Zenith. The Galarian Gallery had 4 of these gold cards in, and on the lower end we've got Dialga and Palkia, and on the higher end we've got Giratina and Arceus. And basically, Giratina and Arceus have ended up being like the 2 big cards from Crown Zenith. Yes, there was that Pikachu that everybody got super hyped about and was trying to sell for hundreds of dollars, which incidentally I also told you was very, very silly and definitely wasn't going to hold. That Pikachu, it just keeps falling. It's still going, ladies and gentlemen. As it stands at the moment, we're down under $30, comfortably under $30. And this is making me very happy indeed. Although, again, I do expect this to keep falling as time goes by. But what about these gold cards? Because you see, when I showed you the other day, I showed you my usual video, which is, hey, the set's been out for a few days now. Prices are starting to crash. And as a general side, and as a general thing, yes, prices had started to crash. But what made the gold cards so interesting, and the reason I've ended up being so obsessed with them, is because they didn't. Everything else did. Well, except for the Mewtwo. We'll actually chat about the Mewtwo in a minute. But basically, he had these couple of cards holding on nicely, and like everything else just crashed. The Pikachu that everybody thought was going to be a ridiculous card, yeah, that crashed pretty gosh darn hard. Radiant Charizard that people were trying to sell for a decent amount of money that people thought were going to be good. Incidentally, that is another card that just continues to crash. We're now comfortably at the market price on TCG Player is $11, but 2 of the past 3 solds are $9. So come on, it's like a $9 card. And honestly, as I've told you before, and I'll explain again in a minute, I expect these to keep on crashing. So it kind of worked like we expected. And it's still keeping going. But I've been perplexed by these gold cards. Because you see, I always kind of figured the gold cards were going to fall. And I fully expected these gold cards to fall. And I told you these gold cards were going to fall. But they were making me look like a fool because they weren't falling. Wordplay. I showed you the other day that, especially the Giratina and the Arceus, they weren't falling. They were going up. And that made me look bad, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a graph from January the 25th, showing you the Arceus, the Giratina card, sorry. And here's a graph of the same day, showing you the Arceus. And they were kind of starting to level out a bit, but both of those were clearly climbing significantly since they were actually released. And this was making me look bad. Because I told you they were definitely going to fall in price, and I was remaining bullish that they were definitely going to fall in price, and they weren't falling in price. They were, in fact, doing the opposite and going up, and like I say, they were making me look a little bit silly, and I don't want to look silly, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here every day doing these videos, making predictions. The more of them that are right, the better I feel inside myself. Well, I've got wonderful news, ladies and gentlemen. Took a little while longer than I thought it might, but the tide has started to turn. Now, when it comes to Palkia and Dialga, these were actually already falling quite nicely. But, if we have a look at Palkia, we saw it started off as a $75 card, collapsed down to a $60 card, went back up to about $72, and it's now $60 and falling. The market price is $61.23, but 2 of the last solds were around about $60. And we're here now. And I'm not saying there won't be another spike. Again, all I can ever do is give predictions. I can never tell you exactly what's going to happen. But I feel pretty confident at this stage that essentially the initial hype has worn off. And we see a very, very similar thing going on with Dialga here. Dialga, we also see a bit of a crash. Now, that started off at $75, actually jumped up really quickly to $85, and it's now kind of rocking $66. And that is pretty much as low as it's been. You see, the last three solds are 62, 66, and 67. So I expect this to be a sub $60 card pretty quickly, honestly. I expect this to fall quite quickly in a manner that makes me, honestly, very, very happy. I don't expect this one to last above $60 for much longer. But we kind of saw these before. So what's going on with Arceus and Giratina? And I'm delighted to say it has begun. So if we take a look at Arceus, for instance, you start off as a $75 card, and it kind of keeps going up for a while. It goes up to about $120. It's now down to about $105. Now, to be fair, of the last three solds, one was $115, but we've had a near mint which has sold for $106, and we can clearly see it starting to fall. Now, it is obviously worth bearing in mind, and you can see it on the graph as well as I can, this is still a fair bit above where it was. This is, it's still below the peak, but it's still quite a bit above where it started. And this makes sense. I expect these cards to keep going and eventually, crash properly. But it has begun, ladies and gentlemen. It has finally begun. And what we can see there is a steady downwards trend. Sure, it goes up in a couple of places, but what we've got here, if you do that mathsy thing where you grab a ruler and a pencil, not on your computer screen, you will wreck it, and you draw a nice little line, you will see that the line is generally trending down. It's not a straight down, there's a little bit of up there, but we have got a nice clear trend downwards. And if we go and have a look at Giratina, we see exactly the same thing. It's still a very expensive card. Started off as about an $85 card. It went up to about $180. It's now about $152. But look at those recent solds. The last three solds were $130. Now, you need to bear in mind with anything like this, there could be a reason. It could well be that all of those are the same seller who just had a few that they wanted to get rid of nice and quickly. Maybe they're seeing a crash, whatever. And certainly, if we go back, it's nearer the $150 mark, which is why the market price is $150. But you see, if I'm now a person that's in the market for a Giratina or an Arceus, I'm looking at the Giratina especially, and I'm going, well, hang on a second. We've got solds for $130. There was 3 sold in a row for $130. So you know what? I kind of feel all right with this. I feel like I can wait. If I can't find a $130 now, I think I'm going to find a $130 in the not too distant future. And this is kind of what happens. In the same way that we see sometimes the price of cards will absolutely skyrocket because we get a couple of sales that are way too high. All it takes is a couple sales that are a little bit lower, and all of a sudden it keeps going. There was a sold there from a day or two ago, which is sitting there at $140. Again, that is below the stated market price over on TCG Player. And this is basically the point I'm making. I think these are going to keep going down. The fact that they initially started going up was weird, and I told you at the time that this wasn't to be trusted, that I don't think it was a good idea to buy for this, and that actually over time we should see this correcting itself. And no, it hasn't fully corrected itself. We are still some way to go, but the downwards trend has started. Now, I've had a lot of questions from people emailing me and messaging me on Twitter and posting on YouTube from all different places, basically saying, hey, Wassy, when's the best time to buy these cards? And the answer is, yeah, you still want to hold on a little bit. Because remember, when it comes to Crown Zenith, we've not seen very much at all. We've had the first set of releases, which is basically your Elite Trainer boxes and the Regieleki and Regidrago collection. And that's it. That's all we've got. On the 17th, we're going to see the mini tins, and we're going to see the Pikachu VMAX Special Collection, which is lovely, and they're cool products. and then there's going to be more. And the thing is, there's going to be a lot of people out there that will buy more Crown Zenith, but are just waiting a little bit. Because, like, if you bought a bunch of Crown Zenith, do you want to buy another couple of Elite Trainer boxes, some more Regidrago collections when you've already got them, or do you want to hold on and buy stuff like the Pikachu VMAX Special Collection, which has got new promos in? And that is, incidentally, as I've told you before, the only product in Crown Zenith that has absolutely proper job brand new promos, rather than alternate art promos of existing cards. So the market is going to keep being flooded. Remember, these products are going out until the beginning of May in terms of new Crown Zenith releases. Crown Zenith is going to be here for months to come. So when I tell you that we've started to reverse the trend, we've started to see the downwards turn on these gold cards, the only thing that's going to happen over the next few months is that the price is going to keep coming down. More Crown Zenith is going to be out there. More copies of the cards are going to be for sale. More people that wanted them are going to end up either pulling them or buying them. And we're going to end up in this wonderful situation where the demand goes down and the supply just keeps going up and the prices are going to crash. If, like me, you really want to pick up these cards, but you want to do so for the cheapest possible price, honestly, wait till like April, May time, when we finish the new round of products for Crown Zenith, and I do believe at that stage we are going to be a lot cheaper. Again, that is a prediction, not a guarantee. That is very important. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know if you pulled these cards. I want to know if you bought these cards. I want to know if, like me, you're holding on to pick them up for a cheaper price later on down the line. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Lawasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel. You can get some bonus podcasts where I answer all of your questions. You can join a Discord and chat with us about Pokemon or literally anything else you fancy. And you can get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Mary Sanders Lazenby, who's been a supporter of ours for a little while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So thank you very much for all the support and for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.